Okay, you're about to see the bonus video for this episode. Please don't skip over it. Watch it all the way through. It's significant to our history. We as a people, not just black people, but white people also. We as a people. And many of the accolades that these men and women, soldiers, airmen, Marines, Navy, for which I am a sailor, they fought in wars, Civil War, World War I and II, and barely got any recognition. And especially those in World War II, they did not receive the accolades and medals that they deserved not until after they were dead or 30 to 40 years later. So please, watch it all the way through and continue to renew your mind.
1.2 million Black American men served in World War II. This is the story of how they changed everything, despite the system trying to stop them. September 1940. The Selective Service Act becomes America's first peacetime draft. Civil rights leaders pushed President Franklin D. Roosevelt to allow black men to serve in integrated regiments. His Secretary of War, Henry Stimson, refuses. The compromise? Black men could serve, but segregated. Always segregated. The military believed black men were unfit for combat, so they relegated them to labor. Cooks, mechanics, digging ditches, unloading supplies. It was deliberately designed degradation. But when casualties mounted in Europe when they desperately needed soldiers, the military had no choice. They had to fight. And when they did, they became legends. In June 1944, a group of black pilots trained in segregated Alabama transformed the entire war effort. The Tuskegee Airmen flew 312 bomber escort missions between June 1944 and April 1945, losing escorted bombers to enemy aircraft on only 7 of those missions. Compare that to the average among other fighter escort groups in the 15th Air Force, which lost 46 bombers on average. Bomber crews began specifically requesting the red tails, the Tuskegee Airmen with their red-painted aircraft tails. They shot down 112 German aircraft in the air and destroyed 150 more on the ground, earning 3 German Me-262 jet aircraft kills, an extraordinary feat for any fighter group. But the air war wasn't the only front where black soldiers shattered every racist myth the military had constructed. On November 7, 1944, the 761st Tank Battalion, the Black Panthers, entered combat for the first time at the Belgian town of Morville-le-Pacifique in what soldiers described as an inferno of battle. General George S. Patton told them before deployment, "Men, you're the first Negro tankers to ever fight in the American Army. I would never have asked for you if you weren't good. I don't care what color you are, as long as you go up there and kill those Kraut sons of bitches." They didn't let him down. The 761st endured 183 consecutive days of continuous combat, a record most frontline units only served for 1 or 2 weeks. By March 1945, they had destroyed hundreds of enemy vehicles, inflicted 4,000 casualties, and captured nearly as many prisoners. They participated in 4 major Allied campaigns across 6 countries, inflicting over 130,000 total casualties. In January 1945, during the Battle of the Bulge, they fought hand-to-hand against the elite German SS Panzer Division. Outnumbered, outgunned, but they held their ground. Then there were the drivers. The Red Ball Express was organized in August 1944 to move supplies 24 hours a day to the front, with 3 out of 4 drivers being African American. These drivers delivered gallon, ammunition, and medical supplies under constant enemy fire, often requiring armored escorts to get through German pockets. In less than 3 months, the Red Ball Express rolled through 40,000 tires while delivering 412,000 tons of ammunition, food, and fuel to sustain the entire campaign. Every single one segregated, every single unit commanded by white officers, every single achievement overlooked. But here's the thing about truth: you can suppress it for a while. You can ignore it. You can deny it. but you cannot erase what actually happened. After the war ended on September 2nd, 1945, these same soldiers returned home to a country that still hated them. Black soldiers faced violent white mobs who resented African Americans in uniform, viewing them as a threat to the Jim Crow social order. They were denied the benefits they'd earned, the housing loans, the education grants, the basic respect due to those who'd shed blood for their nation. But they had proved something that changed America forever. A black pilot could outfly a white pilot. A black tanker could outfight a white tanker. A black soldier could sacrifice just as much as anyone else. In July 1948, President Harry Truman signed Executive Order 9981, desegregating the U.S. Armed Forces, a direct consequence of the undeniable combat record of black servicemen in World War II. These men didn't go to war expecting gratitude. They went because their country needed them. They went because they believed that fighting tyranny abroad might earn them humanity at home. They went knowing they'd be treated as second-class soldiers in a second-class army, and they became first-class warriors anyway. That's not just military history. That's the blueprint for how change happens in America. Black people fighting twice as hard, proving twice as much, and demanding what they've already earned. If this story moved you, if you're sitting there realizing how much of this your history class left out, comment below. Tell me, which of these black heroes shocked you most? The Tuskegee Airmen, the Black Panthers, the Red Ball Express drivers? Like this video, share it with someone.
This is a series that some of you will get and understand, and others will assume off the thumbnail and not bother to check out the video, while others will watch but really not pay attention because of preconceived notions of what they want to hear. So what Dr. Price spoke yesterday is timeless and applicable for today because it's rooted in Jesus. There's only one race, and it's the human race, especially according to God. But that's the way we all should look at each other. But it's not how we as people see ourselves, be it as one. So therefore, racism is a sin that Satan perpetuates on two fronts: the outward, which is the color of your skin, and the inwards, which is the emotion that fuels blame and hate. A lot of people today have a false fixation that racism has been abated, but realistically, it's been suppressed in their minds. And social media is a cesspool of truth and hatred. And this is why Pastor Price's lengthy teaching on the subject needs to be heard from now until the end of time, because as long as sin is a tool of Satan, then there is racism ready to rear its ugly head. If Jesus was a man of color, then that's simply part of the reality God chose. Recognizing that truth doesn't diminish his divinity or his mission. It actually strengthens it, because God works in real history through real people in real cultures. So while salvation doesn't depend on his skin tone, teaching the truth matters, because misrepresentation has long been used to enforce lies, create division, and feed self-hatred or superiority complexes when we hold to truth. Whether about Jesus' identity, the gospel, or anything else, we honor God as the God of truth. Now, here's Pastor Price.
I close with this last time. This tape was given to me by a delegation of black ministers who were hurt, outraged, and bewildered by its content. They were doubly mystified by it coming from a ministry which was held in such high esteem in the charismatic community. They came to me because of my long-standing relationship with this ministry. I had to respond. Now, I'll say this, I know that this is probably uncomfortable for some people, okay? I know it's uncomfortable for some white people. I know that it's uncomfortable for some black people. In fact, I know we got black people here right now and black people that'll be watching this program, and they'll be saying, Fred Price, why don't you shut your mouth and leave things alone? We have the opportunity to ride in the front of the bus. You keep messing with us, they're gonna put us back in the back of the bus. And why don't we never had it so good? Why in the world don't you leave this thing alone?
You know, I personally know what he's talking about, because I come across a lot of white people. No, I take that back. I come across a lot of black people who have this perception that everything is peaches and cream, butterflies and unicorns and whatever. And they're living in this fantasy world. My thing is, they're getting their information, from what I gather, from the churches that they go to. And I'm just calling it like I see it. Most of these people, I'm not going to say all, but most of these people that he's referring to and I'm referring to, black people, men and women, they go to white churches who don't touch on racism. And because they interact with one another, and that is great. That is great. But they're within a bubble and they don't grasp reality outside of their bubble. Their bubble says we all get along. We're seeing so many interracial marriages. Again, that's fine, that's great. But it still does not exclude the truth. The truth is racism is still prevalent, it's still out there, it's not going away. And I've said this before, as long as there's sin, racism will never go away. Is it as bad as it was 100 years ago? No. Okay? No, it's not. But we still have way too many people who fit the narrative of being racist, who practice racism, but they do it undercover and they do it with smoke and mirrors.
Okay, well, to each his own. I have an assignment from God, and I got to deal with this. Messy, I don't really like it. I wish it had been dealt with before I got here, but I'm committed. I'm committed to do the job God assigned me. And you black folk, you need to get your head screwed on right and and recognize this fact. You may think that you got it real good right now because you riding in the front of the bus. But I want to tell you right now that if the United States government, the Congress of the United States, enacted a law and decided to deport all black people and send them back to Africa, I wonder how many of your white friends would be willing to go back to Africa with you. And I wonder how many of you black folk or the white folks going to leave here when all the rest of us are on the boats heading back to Africa. If we don't learn how to stand together, not against anybody, but once and for all in our lifetime, stand for us.
Great point he made. We have to stand together. And we have to get out of this mode of a Republican, Democrat. We have to get out of that mode. And yes, we do have to come together. It is imperative that we come together. You know what happens when we come together? You have the situations like Black Wall Street. That happens when we come together. But because of systemic racism, because of years of being a fractured unit, being as a people, as a whole. But those were instances, and there are some other situations also where black people came together, had the communities intact, came together and flourished. They flourished. But it's like we came together, and then when we were attacked and those things that we built up was torn down, it was like we were scared to come back together again. So now we got, like I said, a fractured society. We got some over here, some over there. but we're not agreeing on things. And don't get me wrong, yeah, there are things that we come together on, but I'm saying situations of what we're talking about right now, where you got too many who are thinking that everything is okay. Because to be quite honest, I'm not. I am totally bothered by the ratchet portion of our culture. I'm disgusted by it. I'm sickened by it. And we take pride in that? Really? We take pride in that? Come on. Come on. We shouldn't take pride in being foul-mouthed, broken families. We shouldn't take pride in that. We should be taking pride in what God has constructed for us. Build upon that. Because when we build upon that, situations like Black Wall Street emerges. And there's vitality and there's progression. Not what's going on right now. No.
Not against anybody else, just for us for once. See, you white people need to understand, and that's why this thing is so messy. And I told you before, I didn't start this mess, and none of you that are present and alive today, none of us started it, but we're the beneficiaries of what our founding fathers have passed on from father to son, from father to son, from father to daughter, from father to daughter, down through the years. And a lot of it, even if you weren't directly taught, it's been subliminal. And so it's there because it's the whole warp and woof of this society. And so we've got to learn that we've got to stick together. All white people stick together. If there's a choice to be made as to whether they're going to support black folk or white folk, they're going with the white folks. And there's nothing wrong with that. You ought to go for your team. You're kind of a poor player if you're not for your team. You sitting over there rooting for the other team to win. I don't need you on the team. Okay? And it's funny. It's amazing to me. Nobody has a problem. I was born and raised in Santa Monica, California. I've lived here in LA all my life. I've gone to grammar school, junior high, and high school and college here in the Los Angeles area. I can tell you that up here on Vermont Avenue, as you go north, you get to a street called Olympic Boulevard. And if you go east or west on Olympic Boulevard and a few blocks in between, north or south, all you see is big signs that are in Korean, in the Korean language. Listen, there was a time when there were no Koreans here. Now, all of a sudden, they have moved into that area. They have their own stores, their own restaurants, their own laundries, their own everything. Not only that, they have their own language. They put their own language up on the wall where can't nobody else read it. And then the city, the city of Los Angeles even allows them to post a sign and call it Koreatown. Now, I'm not knocking that. Don't misunderstand. I'm not knocking that. What I'm trying to say, nobody protests that. Nobody. I haven't heard anybody protest the fact. What are those Koreans doing down there with a town called by their name? Go downtown to a place called Chinatown, and it looks like you in China. They've got the pagodas, they got the Chinese lions, they got the color scheme, they've got all the paraphernalia that supports China. They even serve Chinese food, and they don't give a care whether you come down there and eat their food or not. They put that food out there because that's it. Nobody has a problem with the Chinese people standing together and having their community and having their businesses and even painting the things in their own colors from their native language. But don't let black people try to get together. Don't let them try to come up with a Lagos town or a Kenya town. All of a sudden now something is wrong. You know why? Because that's the way this nation has been built. It's been built on the fact that black people are inferior and white people are superior. It's a fact. You might as well face it. If you don't like it, guess what? Okay? And so we have to deal with it. This man is a representative of thousands and thousands of people. There are many, many people. And that's why these blacks, they came to me, and because of this long-standing relationship that we had, as a black person, I have to act. I have to act. I'm black, if you didn't know it. I'm black. Very black. And I'm going to tell you, as we go on to it, why I have never said anything about it before. I thought it was unnecessary. I thought that people would get to a certain spiritual level where it wouldn't make any cotton-picking difference what color you are, that you would judge me by my character and by my worthiness rather than by my color. But I found out that people, even in high spiritual places, still apparently have some kind of a problem with my color. So I decided I need to come on down to the people that are going to ultimately support me, and we're going to be on the boat together, and you ain't going to be standing on the curb or on the shore watching me go. Okay? Now,
Dr. Price never tiptoed around the truth, and in this message, he broke down the hard reality. White people have historically practiced unity, cohesion, and strategic solidarity, while black people have too often been divided, discouraged, or disconnected from one another. And yes, that has to do with slavery starting out in this country and then progressing into systemic racism. But there has to be a point where we say enough is enough, that we stop killing one another, that we stop cheating on one another, and that we stop hating on one another. Dr. Price's point wasn't to condemn black people, it was to awaken us. He argued that if black people came together with the same intentional unity, be it support and collective discipline, we can accomplish significantly economically, socially, and spiritually. And this isn't about blame, it's about biblical truth, historical accuracy, and practical empowerment. Dr. Price believed unity is not a color issue, it's a righteous issue. And until we fix our divisions, we will struggle to fix our condition. So continue to renew your mind. Enough said.